Still on Narshada today. Probably gonna finish up on that. Cartel market, look at this, and I know I'm not gonna buy it already, but I will go ahead and preview it for everybody else who wants to take a look at it. I mean, it looks kind of neat if you're into that. That's, you know, black and blacked up. Jeez, 1,500. Okay, no, nope, no, thank you. All right, so getting contract negotiations, continuing that today. Good news, my wife is going to actually come home well, her doctor said that she should be able to come home tomorrow. So that's great news. She's doing really well in the hospital and like, yep, think that looks like there's no reason why we can't. What in the world? Just, okay.
Welcome. Please select an available travel route.
And the promenade. That she should be able to come home. Yeah, doctor says, yeah, tomorrow should be good. We're so I'm just waiting for that. She'll text me in the morning. I usually go when the doctor gets there early enough. I start work at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'm awake and ready by then. And as for the visit from the vice president today to downtown Seattle, fortunately it wasn't totally downtown Seattle. It had no bearing on us going to the hospital to see me and my kid going to see my wife. So that was even better. Where am I going? I'm going either one of those ways. Let's go this way. So overall, awesomeness. Can't wait to have my wife home. Hopefully, and I say this every time she gets out of the hospital, she does not need to go back. So far, she was doing really well today. Visitor today is doing really well, so that's really great. And it's always going to be what happens when she gets out of the hospital. You know, what's going to be. I could totally came here yesterday and logged off and set the canteen if I thought about it. Okay, where do I need to go up here? Wait, what? Okay, where am I going? Because this is the Finger. So wait, why am I in the promenade? Why am I over here? I'm supposed to be slicing these terminals, and I'm looking around, I'm like, but it wants me to get back on a taxi again. Why is that guy walking backward? Seen that? Yeah. Okay. That was a bit different. Usually they go forward. Strange things going on in the game. Anyway, as I mentioned maybe a couple times before about the haunted farmhouse, although I probably didn't call it a haunted farmhouse. Okay, if I can't, did this just go ahead and take me? Okay, I'm in the wrong one. I should be paying attention, and I'm not. I was like, why would it give me to the Republic? Because I was paying attention to Bounty Hunter being all weird and didn't even think about it this way. Okay. The haunted or not. Okay. I'll back up. The place where the farmhouse that used to be my grandpa's that we. Why am I can't interact with them? Why not?
Please use all products only as intended.
Oh, because I was too far away. That is understandable.
Be well.
So.
Vehicle pads are currently open for business.
Why couldn't?
Have a safe and pleasant stay.
So, okay, this farmhouse, this is the one where I was talking about, like, we stayed in the back of our station wagon for like a couple weeks or couple months after moving there because it's trashed. Anyway, backing way up on it. So, when I first moved, okay, let's put it. My grandpa, where we lived, was right on the border of Missouri and Kansas. That's where my grandpa lived. And this farmhouse was in Missouri. When we moved, that's where my mom ran off to after her and my dad got divorced. Well, after they separated. They didn't get divorced yet. She took off. Like I said, and he came down to visit us, and she's like, hey, we should get back together. And he's like, nope. And they're like, so she's like, I will punish you for not getting back with me. And again, long story. You just know that much. So when we moved to Missouri, my grandpa lived at this farmhouse. In this town it was in, doesn't even, the people there still live there, or at least there's still people live in the town, but the town itself is no longer a recognized town. Like it used to be called one name, and it had a population of 12. And it was so small that at some point after we moved out, which decades ago, so of course it's a long time ago, but some point after we moved out, it just got incorporated into a different town. They're like, just forget it. It's this town now. We're not going to even bother because it's just this town now. But anyway, going back to the farmhouse. So the farmhouse, my grandpa lived inside of it when we first moved to Missouri. And we kind of stayed with him just a little bit, a few days before, my mom got us a house inside of another city. It was close by. And, it's a small farmhouse. It had a little bit of a field, but mostly in the backyard, it had a lot of old cars that were not drivable anymore. Because back then, and I'm talking about 40s, 50s, 60s vehicles. Because back then, my grandpa was a mechanic at one point. That's what he did. And number two, you kind of didn't, like, cars were disposable. Like, you got done with your car and it was a shooting vehicle. It was something you just, you didn't worry about anymore once you're done with it. Once it broke down and you just like, oh, whatever, done. Because, it was right after the war, right after World War II, and a lot of stuff was disposable back then. Because the economy was so good, and people were like, why do I need to bother? I could buy a house for, a month's rent or for a month's wages, and I could buy all this land for, the economy is really well right after World War II. But anyway, so he bought, he had this farm, and it's in this, non-town. And at some point, over the years, he moved out. He's like, okay, I'm just going to buy, I want more area, I want a newer house, and just going to move. So he went ahead and bought a new house, a new farm, and moved there. But he still owned this old one. And that's where we went to go live. And prior to us moving in, he had some tenants, family members that were not very, they weren't very good, I'd have to say. This is what I heard, okay? Let me back up here. This is what I heard about it. I didn't actually witness this. And this is what I was told. I'm being a kid back, I'm a kid. I don't know for certain. Of course, anybody heard me of that, they were like, you did not identify me, but I got to be completely honest here. there's a lot of stuff I was told as a kid I cannot verify. So I will let you know if it's something I can't verify and that I was just told. Okay, moving on. This farm actually was built pre-Civil War because it's Missouri, and there's a lot of places built pre-Civil War back then. And it used to be a post office, a general store, and a residence. So it's like all three. And you could kind of see like some of how it was designed and then remodeled. But you had like the downstairs, you had two levels. You had two levels, a basement, a cellar. The cellar was not attached to the house. The basement was basically a crawl space, and it would flood a lot, so you really did not want to go down there. The cellar would also flood a lot. But yeah, you had the first level, which it used to be a general store and a post office. And then you have the upstairs, which used to be a residence. So when we're trying to watch Rex. Where is he at again? Are you gonna tell me where he's at, or are you just gonna let me guess? Let me guess. Let's see, was he in the he was in Shadowtown, wasn't he? I'm gonna say he was in Shadowtown. But I don't have anything unlocked in Shadowtown. Maybe I'll just jump on my bike and I'm not trying to quick travel everywhere. I'm like, I'll just quick travel to. This is one thing I don't like about this planet is, in some planets like these two, it's like, oh, I just will quick travel to where am I going? And then you show me. Oh, that's always wonderful. If it's not within the sector you're currently in, it doesn't show you. So anyway, so the house was built in a pre-Civil War, and eventually, I don't know the entire history of it, but eventually it was remodeled, of course, and made into like a single family home. And that's how my grandpa owned it, was when it was a single family home. Am I going the correct way? I'm going the correct way, okay, good. So yeah, he left it, but he still owned the property. Again, not uncommon, because, you know,
One more down.
he wasn't rich by any means, but he was, you know, he had money. Especially not after my mom's mom, my grandmother. She tried taking every. Yeah, that's another story again. So many stories, so little time. My life is one giant story. All these weird things that happen. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. So we moved in, or before we moved in, I guess there had been some talk through the family that the house was haunted. And we didn't know that moving in. We only found out about that later on. But apparently, yeah, they'd been talked that it was haunted in by the previous tenants, and they lived upstairs. Which, yeah, that's kind of what happened when we were there too. And it's weird being inside. And when we moved in, and the first time we came in there, you know, I tried to explain this before. If you've never had an encounter with like a ghost or anything like that, which, you know, some people are like, there's no such thing as ghosts yet. I'm usually 100% behind that.
What can I get for you?
And honestly, there's a lot of people out there who will say, oh, I see a ghost, and like, yeah, they're full of it.
Come back anytime.
You know, maybe they think they honestly do, or maybe they're looking for attention. I don't know. But I've never been in a situation. There's been situations where I've actually been around ghosts, and there is no sight to it. It's this feeling, and it's a weird feeling. It's like I said before. It's like somebody's there.
Vehicle pads are currently open for business.
You know, that was
Have
over
a safe
here.
and pleasant stay.
It's like somebody's there, but they're not there. Like all of your, every other part of you, like you feel them there. You almost like smell them, taste them, or not taste them. You can almost like smell them, hear them. You feel like if you reached out, you could touch them, and your eyes want to see them. And it's like that fleeting glimpse off the side of your eye where you're like, I know I've seen something, type of thing, but the rest of your senses agree with it and going, yeah, there's actually something there. But you're not looking out the side of your eye. You're looking straight forward, and all of your sensors are screaming, there's something here, but yet it's not here. That's the best way I can go ahead and describe it. And it's, you feel, it's weird. It is so surreal, but yeah, and for all of us, as soon as we moved in the place, it was this overwhelming feeling of just anger, and it just you knew that there was something upstairs, and you could feel it. And the only one who couldn't feel it was my mom's boyfriend at the time, the one I call Mad Dog. He's the only one who couldn't feel it, and he thought we were, just pulling his leg and messing around with them, and whatever. Not everybody has those feelings. I've, found that out too. It's like I've talked to some people, and like they're like, "Can you feel that?" And like, I can feel it. And people are like, "Oh, you guys are just messing around with me." So, whatever. Some people are sensitive and some are not. I don't always feel it, but sometimes you feel it. Sometimes it's just so strong. Let's talk to Watcher X, and right back.
Welcome back, Cypher. Glad you could visit. Most people in Shadowtown seek escape. Spies, assassins. Freedom is the only reason they'd help the Empire. But Imperial intelligence isn't offering me freedom. You know why?
You're insane. Letting you free would be the worst thing we could do.
Imperial intelligence is scared to let me free. But the Watchers know that if I refuse to help, my mental conditioning reacts. If I disobey a superior, I get headaches. They last for days. So I may as well help you. The alternative is less pleasant.
Has intelligence done that to anyone else?
Oh, yes. But I know you're eager to get back to business. Now that we have surveillance, I've been able to monitor VerveGen's activities. The results are enlightening. As we suspected, they're manufacturing Cyclone. In fact, VerveGen is preparing a large quantity of serum for transport and distribution.
They're transferring the Cyclone to other cells in the network.
That's exactly right. VerveGen's day-to-day management is expecting a visit from the owners. That's when the Cyclone will be turned over. Security will increase. Employees sent home, holocams activated, internal defenses powered on. But get into the meeting unnoticed, and you'll find the Terror Cell leaders.
Then we can eliminate the terrorists and destroy the Cyclone.
An appropriate solution. But the approach will require delicacy. With effort, we can create a cybernetic disguise combining armor, implants, and holographic technology. You would appear to be a Class 5 droid. Most security devices don't screen mindless droid workers. Fitted with such a camouflage system, you could walk into VerveGen unmolested.
Being covered in cybernetics and holograms doesn't exactly sound healthy.
It should be safe. Granted, I haven't seen it tested. I've already assembled the system's components. All that remains is to implant the cybernetics necessary to hide your life readings. I can put you to sleep with an anesthetic before making the incisions. Otherwise, we can begin. The procedure should be swift.
Just wake me up when the operation's done.
Of course. I'll try not to cause any damage while I'm inside.
Not that I doubt him, but I'll keep an eye out for you. Night.
Finished. I've inserted 3 implants along your spinal column. You'll never feel them. Congratulations. From now on, you'll be able to pass as a machine.
We're losing time. What's next?
It won't be long before the cell leaders arrive at VerveGen. I suggest you get to the meeting. Eliminate everyone. Afterward, I'll contact you for confirmation. Good luck, Cypher.
I like how Khalil's holding a gun to him, like, yep, don't screw it up. But I'm sure he's used to it by this point. All right, okay, finishing my story, or continue with my story about that house. So yeah, we move in there, and like I said, everybody except my mom's boyfriend kind of feel this presence. And it's scary. It's, like I said, it's weird. It's, so we, I know it couldn't, as an adult, I know I can't stop it, but we went ahead and, there was a door upstairs, and it opened up into the downstairs. So we took a crutch and we basically propped it up underneath the door handle just to lock the upstairs.
Please use all products only as intended.
Again, I know it wasn't going to stop it. If it was like a real really ghost kind of come through, that wouldn't stop it. It'd just go through the door, but it made us feel better because, like I said,
please select an available travel route.
The feeling was so strong. You just had to do something, and we did not have we didn't have the ability to go ahead and move somewhere else, because I mean, if we did, we wouldn't be there in the first place, would we? But if you stayed away from the door, it really wasn't that bad. Get close to the door and get close to the upstairs, and you could feel it, and it's like, I just gotta get away I gotta get away from it. So we lived there. I don't know how. I had to look up how long we lived there. But anyway, yeah, when we came in, the place was a mess. It wasn't too bad, actually. The condition, it just needed to be cleaned really bad, really good. So we cleaned up what we could, and then we found out, and this is one part where if you're eating something, I'm very sorry. It was infested with cockroaches. And before that, I mean, I think we'd ran into cockroaches before, but it was infested. They were everywhere. And this will make your skin crawl probably. And again, I am sorry, but this is the truth of the matter. Yeah, they would crawl on us, when we were sleeping, just sitting around. And of course, you'd wake up, or you'd, kind of brush them, do whatever. But yeah, they were everywhere. And I don't know how long we were there before the water pump broke. We were on a well system, and the pump was inside of the cellar, which was next to the well. And I don't remember, I think it flooded way too many times, and it finally broke.
Yeah.
So we have cockroaches, and we have no running water. Beautiful. Yeah, my skin's starting to crawl right now. Just thinking about it. I mean, I'm lucky. I live in this Washington state, which you don't usually see cockroaches here. They don't usually survive in the state. It's not the right climate, and they're not native to here. But anyway, moving on. So we have no running water. We have cockroaches. And no running water means we took showers once a week, and what would have to happen is we would have to get the water out of the well, 5-gallon buckets, dip them down the well, pull them up, and yeah, it wasn't one of those wells where you could just pump it up. No, you had to actually get a bucket on a rope and drop it down the well and pull the water up. So we'd get, buckets full of water, and then our mom would boil it off on the gas stove. And that's how we kind of took showers. And then she'd mix the cold with the hot and just dump it on our heads, we soap ourselves up, and then dump it off to rinse off. And eventually what ended up happening is once we could go out to drive out to my grandpa's new house, which was pretty far away. It was a good 30, no, it's longer than 30 minutes away. I'm trying to remember how long it was. Because I drove there, you know, a few decades ago. I went there and for my cousins, you know, my uncle ended up moving there. So I went there and I've driven between the two properties. But yeah, it was pretty far away. So once a week we got a shower. And yeah, it was not, so between the cockroach, but you know, we're boys and it's whatever, you know, you do what you got to do to survive. And I mean, if you didn't really think about it, if you didn't dwell on it, it wasn't bad. Let's put it that way. The whole issue was, yeah, thinking about it now and I'm older, it's like, oh, that was nasty. And yeah, again, small town, it was known, you know, that we lived in this house with no water or cockroach, you know, we had cockroaches. And I think at one point my younger brother and I had to go to the doctor. We had all these bumps all over our stomach, and turned out, yeah, we got fleas too, because we got cats and we got dogs. We had a couple dogs. So yeah, cats sleep on the stomach, get fleas, get bit. Oh, great childhood, very great childhood. But we lived there, and it wasn't, you know, we had some good times there. We had a lot of bad times there. You know, of course, like I said, Mad Dog and him, the abuse and whatever. But as boys, we had fun.
After the test results came in, we made some modifications. The serum lasts longer. The side effects kick in later. But it's still lethal. No matter what we do, Cyclone will burn up its users from the inside out.
I'm not concerned about fatalities. The men and women taking the serum understand the necessity of sacrifice. This is an important day for us. You've created a new weapon in our fight for freedom. One that we'll use to great advantage.
We're all honored to hear that from the Eagle, sir. VerveGen is your partner in the cause.
How do you want to proceed?
You and your men will distribute Cyclone to the cells and continue overseeing Nar Shaddaa. VerveGen will remain under your watch. Wraith and Predate will continue managing the business.
I appreciate your faith in me, sir.
Smugglers are ready and waiting. As soon as we're done here, I'll get the serum to them.
Yeah, I'm remaining silent. I'm part of intelligence. I just need to listen. Yeah, I can attack at any point, but I'm remaining silent for now. I want to get as much information as possible.
Excellent. If we need VerveGen again, I'll contact you. Otherwise, use your initiative. End transmission.
You heard him. Grab the serum and go. Wraith and...
I'm sorry, sir. I was doing a full sensor scan, and that droid over there is showing unusual readings.
I don't recognize it. It certainly shouldn't be in the conference room.
I'm here to kill you.
There we go.
Let's deal with this intruder.
Something's wrong with the internal defenses. I can't get a response.
Oh, watch
Secure the building, and don't let anyone escape. Anyone who needs a boost from Cyclone, take it.
Oh, don't worry. It's not going to help you.
All right, make me look good.
But getting back to it, yeah, we had oh, that was easy. I guess I got to talk to this guy first.
Recording function activated. Self-diagnosis? Critical. I'm going to die. I'm looking at the man who's going to kill me.
Yeah, maybe.
A cyborg. How convenient.
Mm-hmm.
You eliminated the cell leaders. Now we must remove every trace of their operation and prevent their followers from regrouping. The terrorist communications hub, the system they use to arrange meetings, store secrets, broadcast propaganda, must be destroyed. The man at your feet is our opportunity.
He's mewling on the floor. He's barely an opportunity for target practice.
You can kill him soon, if you like. This won't take long. We can use his computer-enhanced brain to locate the hub. You'll need to route me to his cortical implant.
What? You can't do that!
There should be a standard interface somewhere on his skull. Connect your holocommunicator, and I can slice the data inside his mind.
Please, I'll tell you what you need to know. Just don't slice my brain.
Nope. You are getting a brain
You
slice.
played the game and lost. These are the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. Please don't. Ah! Ah!
I'm inside. He's Aphel Jaarn, born on Dantooine. 16 years old, he comes to Nar Shaddaa, works for the Exchange, earns his cybernetics. 19 years, he's recruited by the Nar Shaddaa terror cell, starts as nothing, but his enhancements prove useful to men higher up. They connect him to the cell's communications hub, feed him codes and patterns. Now the coordinates are mine.
What are we waiting for?
The hub is in the network access sector, a maze of computers and holonet transceivers. You'll have to pass the cell's security droids to reach it. Certainly within your capabilities. Once you're there, disable the terminal. Then the Nar Shaddaa terror cell will cease to exist.
Can't.
Consider this an act of mercy.
All right. Tortured a guy and jacked his brain and found out where we need to go now. You know, I'm gonna hold on here, Kayla. Do some of these while I'm for a moment here.
You know me way too well.
11 right now for her influence.
You know me way too well.
I got a bunch of these anyway.
You know me way too well.
So yeah, so the water pump's out.
You know me way too well.
In
You know me way too well.
our local church, though,
You know me way too well.
sorry, I had to clear my throat again. So
You know me way too well.
the local church, I mean, really nice church. I actually went there.
You know me way too well.
I mean, I'm an atheist now, but back then I was kind of Christian. Like I was a Christian until I don't remember when I stopped being one. But anyway, I'm not one now. I don't remember when it was stopped. But anyway, yeah, they helped out and they were trying to help get the water pump fixed, but I guess yeah, that's not gonna work. Op center? Yeah, let's travel the op center. So they were trying to get it fixed. I don't remember what the issue was, if it just cost too much money, if it had too much, if like more than just a water pump needed fixed, but you know, they had some people come out and try to help fix it. And it couldn't be fixed, you know, for some reason, one reason or another, it just could not be fixed. And which, yeah, like I said, that was really nice of them because they didn't have to. They didn't charge us anything for it either. They didn't like, oh, we're going to charge you, da-da. And I think it was money. I think it just couldn't afford it or something.
What can I get for you?
Because my mom was still paying her dad a little
Come back
bit of...
anytime.
Was she paying him? I don't think she was paying him rent. I think he was paying for everything, including electricity and everything else like that. And she was supposed to pay him back. But again, you know, she's horrible with money and, you know, whatever. But so, yeah, we lived in that house for a while. And it was, we had, you know,
Welcome. Please select an available travel
a
route.
couple good stories
Have
from
a
there.
safe and pleasant stay.
Like one, they had some sheds up because it was a farm and it had some old, and it had like some old sheds where the animals used to be, like some we call them the chicken sheds because the chickens were going inside there. And we built, I mean, we went through because there's no animals there and they're all falling apart anyway. And our mom's like, stay out of them, they're falling apart. And we were like, yeah, we're young, you can't catch us because you have a busted kneecap and we'll do what we want. So we went out there and did what we want. And, you know, had fun. I remember once watching, you know, the TV show MacGyver. And my older brother thought he was being MacGyver and he was going to build a parachute out of a plastic bag. Because you know what? Almost every kid thinks that a plastic bag is an awesome parachute until they try it. And he did. He jumped off and, oh no, the plastic bag, we tried the plastic bag. No, he tried, the MacGyver thing is he tried to make a, this thing's called, a zip line. He tried making a zip line out of, I think it was a coat hanger. Yeah. So we got him up on the roof. And the roof of this chicken shed is about, I'd say about 15, 20 feet. It's not too high up, but it's high enough that you should not jump off of it. And you definitely should not jump off of it with nothing more than a coat hanger. So yeah, that was a quick lesson. Jumped off. He didn't. I don't think he broke anything, but I think he hurt his arm or something like that. And you know, but we're kids. We're doing stupid things. And we took our GI Joes out there once, and he's putting firecrackers in them and lighting them off. Did not realize that. Yeah, that's going to blow them up, and you're not going to have them anymore. But again, young kids doing stupid stuff because that's what kids do. When you're young, you do stupid stuff. And another thing we did is the field was overrun. The field where there used to be crops was overrun with all this brush. And normally, you know, what farmers would normally do is they would go ahead and their fields, they would either plow them over or they'd light them on fire to burn out all the brush. Well, we didn't have a plow, so guess which one we tried. And it was, and I say we as, and my mom was actually involved in this one. We were not quite aware of how quickly brush would set fire, and it got kind of away from us. And because we didn't have a water pump, we just had buckets of water. We were running as fast as we could to get those buckets of water filled to keep the brush from hitting the barn. Because if it would hit the barn was a big wooden structure about ready to fall over. And all it would take is just one push, maybe structural damage from a fire, for it to fall on the house, which would have destroyed both the barn and the house, and then we definitely would have been homeless. But fortunately, yeah, we got it all out. And after we got it put out, we found a lot of dead snakes, a lot of burnt up dead snakes, which maybe later on where might have caused what ended up causing us to move out of the house, which was snakes infesting the house. That's, you know, a little bit further down the story here, sorry. But yeah, once we, you know, burnt all that off, and it wasn't that bad actually. We got to plant some strawberries, some pumpkins, some watermelon, and you know, a few things grow. And it wasn't too bad after that. But this is, yeah, well, I guess this is the reason why I hate snakes. And there's going to be more stories about the house, but I'm just going to wrap it up with why we eventually moved out. Now, this is going to be a trigger warning for anybody. Normally I wouldn't do a trigger warning, but this is going to be a definite trigger warning because it involves a lot of death of cats. And yeah, if it's bad enough that Mad Dog killed my kitten, this was even worse. And you gotta remember, I was in 3rd grade back then. So I was what, 8, 9 years old. Wait, kindergarten, 4th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So 3, 7 or 8. I'm doing rough math. It's the end of the day, rough math in my head. But yeah, I'm about as old as my kid is right now. And so far I've experienced some things. And one of the things, you know, being the death of a few animals. But anyway, what happened was, this is going to be a cutscene, isn't it? Okay, I will leave it after this holocom.
Congratulations, Cypher. You've struck the final blow to the Terracell. Survivors will be unable to regroup. Ties to the Eagle's network have been severed. There's only one catch. Destroying the network hub sent a ripple through the holonet. Shadowtown security momentarily failed. I took the opportunity to escape.
You're a dead man.
Your anger is understandable. Keep it in check.
Damn son of a sow.
Soon one of your watchers will notice the glitch. You'll be asked to find me, hunt me. But I don't want you as an enemy. Tell your watcher that I remain imprisoned. Once I'm safe, I'll share my secrets. You'll know everything intelligence keeps from its ciphers.
How do I know you'd keep your end of the deal?
You don't. But consider the possibilities. Do you want the details of the eugenics program that bred myself and Watcher 2? The aliases of your friend, Kaleo Janis?
You sleazy freak. Think you can play? You are dead. You're so dead.
It's yours. All the secrets. You only have to help me escape Nar Shaddaa.
You know how to make a tempting offer.
I can guarantee this chance won't come again.
You're kidding, right? You're going to sit back and let him use you?
Is there something you don't want me to know?
I don't care what he tells you. I care that he thinks he can get away with manipulating us.
Apologies for interrupting. I have to get to my ship. And you have an incoming call from your masters. Goodbye, Cypher.
Cypher 9, this is Watcher 2. I'm routing this call through a half-dozen city subsystems. We intercepted a set of terrorist transmissions reporting the destruction of a company called VerveGen. I've sent agents to scour the company's systems for additional data. It seems the Nar Shaddaa cell has been neutralized.
I just destroyed the cell's communications hub. It could have salvageable data.
I'll alert the teams. There's also something else. As I was monitoring, I noticed some unusual network activity. It's possible Shadowtown's security was breached. I'm worried about Watcher X. He'd take advantage of a fault like that.
So I get dark side points for saying there's no breach. I get light side. I don't want light side points. I just want to make a decision. Fine.
I just talked to him. He's still locked up.
I must have made a mistake then. That man puts me on edge. I'm sorry you had to work with him.
Learn to focus on your job, not your feelings.
Keeping a rogue watcher from running loose in the galaxy is part of my job. I won't trouble you further. I'm knee-deep in new data, and I'm sure you have business left on Nar Shaddaa. Contact me once you've returned to your ship. Watcher 2 out.
You cowardly piece of filth. I'm not going to forget this.
Yeah. Oh, I can't mount here. Okay. So, well, promenade. Yeah, so the reason why we end up moving out of the house, so by this time, through everything, after the whole thing with, I almost said his name, with Mad Dog leaving, and, a few months later,
Please use all products only as intended.
my brothers and I, we just moved upstairs. It's like the presence wasn't there anymore. You just couldn't feel it. It was gone. So we moved upstairs, and, we're having a, pretty good time, and things are going well, and...
Vehicle pads are currently open for business. Have a safe and pleasant
the
stay.
water pump's still, it's still broken, but, we're learning to live with it, going out to my grandpa's, take showers, do whatever. And there's less cockroaches upstairs, too. Weird, but, whatever. But then we start noticing some of the kittens. We noticed one of them, has an issue. Like one day he just develops this thing. Like he starts crying, and then his back legs wouldn't work, and then his front legs wouldn't work. And this, happened within a few hours, and and like, what's wrong with them, And again, dirt poor, so it's not like we can take them to a vet to see them. Because they're an Imperial agent. So we can't take them to a vet because, we have no money for it. And not only that, I think about it back then, it's like, just sleep it off. Whatever's wrong, they're probably sick. My brother takes him to bed with him because it was his kitten. And my brother wakes up, but the kitten doesn't. And that's the first one. And it continued to happen. And then my mom, one day, we're at school, and one of the kittens catches a snake. My kitten catches a snake in the living room. And it does something, it attacks or gets the kitten's eye. And this whole time we're not thinking, this is not like, oh, we're seeing patterns here, but what is going on? We don't know what's going on. And that kitten, the eye starts, expanding quickly, within the next week. So we do have to take to the vet. It's like, there is no way this cat's going to live. And the kitten's in complete pain, rapidly expanding eyeballs. It can't be good. Yeah, I'm sorry for anybody that's hanging out on this point. They're like, this is horrendous. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll take a break real quick here. Let's see the holoterminal, and I'm going to finish the story. And I'm sorry this is going to end up the way it is.
This is Cipher 9 to Watcher 2. Please respond.
Contact authorization denied. This is Imperial Automated Defense Corps Unit CR-97. By order of Darth Jaarn, Lord of the Dark Council, your ship is now in lockdown.
Cipher 9. The last time we spoke, I called you to Korriban. Did you misunderstand what a privilege that audience was?
It was a great honor. I only hope to live up to your expectations.
You failed so far. I haven't heard a word from you about Darth Jadis's assassination. But you deserve another chance. Now, my peers on the Dark Council acknowledge me, but they don't yet respect me, not like they did my father. To secure my position, I must have my father's secrets, the mysteries Darth Jadis never deigned to teach me.
What? I'm looking for terror cells, you idiot. Whatever. All right.
My task will be to find these secrets.
Your task is to find one whom Jadis trusted. I was his only apprentice, but he favored Force-blind advisors over his own daughter. Of course, most of his advisors died with him on the Dominator, but not all. Vyord Yanol stayed behind. Vyord Yanol fled to Nar Shaddaa.
Was he afraid of something? And why Nar Shaddaa?
I expect that when Jadis died, Yanol knew no one could keep him safe anymore. And again, maybe Yanol conspired with Jadis's rivals. Maybe he was involved in my father's death. The end result is the same. My sources have found his hideout. You will catch him and bring him to me. Until then, we are finished.
Alright, sounds like I'm not quite done with Nar Shaddaa yet. Well, good thing I haven't left port. Okay, so sorry, I get back to my story. Feel free to mute this part. Well, actually, I think I said probably the worst parts already. But slowly over the next, I don't remember, I think it was weeks that this kind of happened. We took the kitten who was attacked by the snake, or caught this. The snake was going to attack my mom. And the kitten actually just not even, I don't think even was like, oh, I'm going to protect you, but thinking, oh, there's something moving, because kittens do that. They're like, oh, something's moving, I attack it. It's the instinct. Got the snake and kept the snake from biting my mom, and in turn, it lost its eye. Eventually, that's what ended up having to happen. So, again, none of this, I mean, it didn't add up, because even you probably listen to this right now, you're like, what does this have to do with everything? This all became a pattern, and later on we recognized. And we kind of recognized it way too late. More kittens died, some of them just disappeared. And eventually, moving the couch one day, we found the mama cat.
Vehicle pads are currently open for business.
And a snake, both dead, entangled around, just just looked like they were fighting, and they died. And that's when we should have known. That should have been the last of it. That should have been the problem. But yeah, our house was infested with snakes, and they were venomous, not poisonous. There's a difference. Poisonous and venomous are two different things. Venomous snakes, and that's what was going on. They were biting the cats, the kittens, the toxins, whatever inside the venom would shut down their muscles slowly and kill them slowly. And yeah, so one day we're at school and we get a call to the principal's office, me and my brothers and I, and it's our mom's there, and she's like, we can't go home. And just took us from school with whatever we had for that day to go to school. That was it. That's all we had. And we had none of our other possessions, anything we brought to us that day to school, that's all we had. We just abandoned we had to abandon the house, and we moved to the YWCA, not the YMCA, YWCA, because that was the only place we could live. And they had to make they're like, well, given their ages, we can make an exception for your sons, but they were kind of like, this is supposed to be for women and children only, and your boys are a little bit, they're almost teenager, well, they're almost preteens. They're almost teenagers. They're almost preteens, so they were kind of worried about us being like, so you can turn us away because we're not, we just lost our home. We lost everything. But they were cool, You
and me?
It was an interesting experience there. But yeah, eventually what ended up happening was, again, the church got involved, and after like a few weeks, and again, time is kind of weird in my head about that, being that young, time doesn't always add up. But I want to say we were there for a few weeks before the church came out, and they had some men, some of the men of the church go inside there, and, they had the big rubber boots on and with pitchforks trying to get clothes, and forget the possessions, just clothes. It's like, okay, we just got to get whatever clothes we can get out of there, using pitchforks so we don't get bit by these snakes that are clearly venomous. Clearly. And yeah, so whatever we had, we could get out of there. That was it. That was our life. That from there on in. Almost everything that we had was gone. We had the one kitten of mine that had the one eye. We kept her with us because, well, after what happened to Snake, before we even knew the house was infested, we just like, she was the star at that point. And so we kept her, but I mean, we even had her inside of the YWCA, which is, of course, is our point of contention. They're like, oh, and there should be animals. Like, people have the little yappy dogs. You can have a kitten here. Come on. And yeah, eventually, that's when we. By that time, my mom had also kind of burnt her bridges with her dad, because, like I said in previous ones, she was good at doing that. She was always good at burning bridges to people, but so he didn't want to, she didn't want to reach out to him for assistance, and he wasn't going to offer it if she did. Okay, let me talk to this guy.
Get away! I've done nothing to you. I've touched nothing on this dust ball. No, talk to no one.
Grab anything you need and start moving. We're not staying here.
Insolent child! Don't touch me! Stay back! The Dark Council hired you, didn't it? Or the Galactic Republic, the Macrosa Order, the Hutts? It doesn't matter. My master is dead. Darth Jadis is gone. I have no one left to betray.
I don't have time for diplomacy right now. You need to listen to me.
You really don't understand. Lord Jadis must have made preparations for his death. He was power, and fire, and brilliance. The instant the Master died, I promise his contingency plans went into action. They'll bring doom to everything Lord Jadis ever touched, and I want no part of it.
It's already too late for that.
Fool! Everyone Jadis ever touched will all be destroyed.
Still alive, but he's not getting up soon. Now we have to drag him to the ship.
Let's load him up and get going.
You know, you'd think a high-up advisor would carry a few more credits.
Alright, now I can head back to the ship. Oh, what's on this computer? Huh. Schematics. Blueprints for Imperial Starship, alright. Isn't that the one that Darth Jadis died on? Alright, and next. Why won't it let me do both of them at the same time? Let's do research. Imperial project. So. What image? All right, let's head back to my ship. But yeah, so yeah, we went back, loaded up whatever the church could get out of there for clothes, got them washed, and that's when we left Missouri with nothing but.
Do you require medical attention?
Whatever. Well, okay, take it back. The church they got a couple of our belongings and weren't clothes, which was kind of nice, which is very nice of them, but it wasn't. Most of our stuff was there in the house, and.
You ever been to Nar Shaddaa? I can show.
All right, but yeah, that was it. Just killed almost all of our cats. Lost almost everything. And what we had left was packed into the station wagon with a U-Haul compartment above it, because they had these little things you could put on the top rack of the station wagon, U-Haul things, and that was it. And yeah, that was our life. And we drove to Washington State, and well, we went to Oregon, but that's another story for another time because we had some problems there. There's a lot of stories for another time, but yeah, I went from living in the station wagon right outside the barn of his house to basically living in the station wagon with very little of anything anymore. And we drove, it took us a week or 2 weeks to drive from Missouri to Washington to Oregon. And yep, left by any.
Greetings, Master. You're looking fit and deadly, as always.
We got to say goodbye to a couple of people there, but it was so quick. There's like I'm sure there was people that were like, "Whatever happened to those?" You know, one day we leave school and we never see our classmates again. It's like we just disappeared. And yeah, it was all because, snakes infested our house and we had nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. And so that was kind of the haunted house in Missouri, the haunted farmhouse. Yeah, I'm sorry the story took such a dark turn, but it was so long ago. And I just kind of think of it as like, it was sad, it was bad, but it's a part of who I am now, which is a part of my story. So it was decades ago too. And I kind of learned to be a lot more resilient because of it. Because whenever you lose everything, it's a lot easier to look at life and go, you know what? Maybe getting to the stoplight first is not going to be an issue. Maybe you don't sweat the little things as much sometimes. But anyway, okay, moving on. Sorry, getting too philosophical here. Should we plan my game?
This is Keeper to Cipher 9. I understand you're running an errand for Darth Jorid. It may not be my place to know a Dark Council member's business, so I won't ask what she wants. I only want to advise you to take care.
That's unusually thoughtful of you, Keeper.
These are unusual circumstances. Would that they were different. Jorid has relocated to Darth Jadis' old chambers on Drummond Cars. She awaits you there. Keeper out.
All right, back to Drummond Cars. First, got to find the bridge. It's up this way. Well, I'm about an hour now. So, do I speak to the Darth Zorid now, or should I wait till later? I think maybe I'll wait till later. Maybe I'll end this right here. Okay, well, I don't know if I'm going to play tomorrow. So in fact, I don't know if my wife comes home tomorrow, which I'm really hoping she does. I don't think I'll be playing. She might just go, I'm tired, I'm going to bed, play your game, or she might just go, I just want to sit at home and be with you. Either way, I may or may not. But you know what? Life goes on. If one thing that story kind of taught you, is bad things are going to happen. Unfortunately, in life, there's always going to be really bad things that happen. You got to keep moving. You got to keep going because it's going to keep throwing you bad stuff. And if you sit there and you let it if you let that just break you down and stop you from moving, you're never going to get out of it. If that makes sense. It may not. It's late. All right. Thanks for watching. Until next time.